Okay guys, we're at the Green Limousine. We're at the Marrickville Mercedes. We're at the VJ Valiant. So I've got a bonnet, I've got guards, I've got a V8 K-frame. What else have I got? I've got a front windscreen. I'm thinking about getting a new one of those because I'd like a really nice new one, but I've got one. We're just trying to debate. Got a bumper. Don't have a front bumper at the moment, but that will turn up, I'm sure. I really like the VH quarter windows, so I reckon I'm going to chuck these off this. This is a Town and Country ute. This has a vinyl top, violet top. It's got this writing here. I'm not quite sure what this, whether it's V110 or V10 or I don't know. But I've given this one to my daughter, and we've nicknamed it Violet, and it's going to go the violet, or plum crazy type violet, wild violet. I'm not sure what the actual name of it is, but we're going to do it that colour. But I am going to shark this for parts in the meantime, because this is a down the road project. What I'm thinking, she doesn't care much for the quarter windows, but I love them. I absolutely love them. So I'm going to take these quarter windows and windows, obviously, and mechanisms, because they'll be different to standard doors. I've got all the original panels, right, except for the bonnet. The bonnet is off of something different, but I've got the original guards in my storage shed in town, and I've got all the original panels. Now, the problem I'm having in my head, for safety purposes, these are early model doors, VJ 1973, 74. They don't have, I'm showing you inside the door, they don't have the anti-intrusion bars, where this is the CM, and I think the CLs are the same. I don't know about the VKs. They see how much more they've got this anti-intrusion stuff in here. Where are you? I'm looking in the wrong spot. Where are you? There, inside. Yeah, they've got that anti-intrusion stuff in it. Where are you? There, yeah. So, got the anti-intrusion stuff. That's so you can't get a car in your lap if they come at you and T-bone you. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do I chuck in the later model doors for strength? Or do I save a bit of weight? Do I keep it original? Like I told the car I'd keep it original. I talk to the cars, I anthropomorphise everything. Humanise it, that means make inanimate objects humanised. Talk to them, I'm a weirdo. So yeah, little debates like that going on in my head all the time. As far as progress is concerned, I haven't made any, but I'm trying to do little things to lead up to the big things. So I've tried to make a video before and nearly killed myself because I wanted to do a comparison on what I've been told is a Ford 9-inch and this Borg Warner. So this is the one I was told was a 9-inch. This is the Borg Warner, and I can't see a heck of a lot of difference, and I don't really know diffs that well. So I'm going to rebuild this one, regardless of whether it's a Borg Warner or a 9-inch, because it's got the discs. I'm going to rebuild that at work with my boss. Like I say, I'm a mechanic, first year apprentice, mature age. Where I work is an awesome place, and my boss is very willing to do things like this with me and show me all this stuff. So, but if you know the difference, tell me, let me know in the comments. Apparently these were modified for, I think, an AP5. I think that's what I was told, but you can't always believe what you're told. I see this is different. I just don't know. If you know, tell me. But yeah, I'm going to upgrade the brakes. I've read online that Ford Territory brakes are the way to go. Like the actual discs, the rotors. Yeah. So I'm just gathering my stuff together. Right? Gathering that together. Trying to figure it out. I have these two 245s here. If anybody's in Western Australia and they want them, hit me up in the comments. Might be able to do a trade or something. You know, I was thinking about it this morning. They say beg, borrow, steal. I'm okay with begging. I really don't like borrowing because then I always feel bad if something goes wrong or you don't get it back on time. And I definitely don't like stealing. So what I was thinking is beg, nag and swap. But yeah, you be a beggar. Be a beggar. Ask, because I don't know if any of you watch Counts Customs, but Danny Coker once said something. He said, it's always no if you don't ask. The answer's always no if you don't ask. I love that. So I'm just kicking around down here today. I'm trying to build, maybe I'll pause and go up there. I'm trying to build some stuff. I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause. I'll be back in a second because I'm going to pause and I'm going to go up and I'm going to show you what I'm doing and why I haven't actually made any progress on this at the moment. Just on my way to my shed, and this is the CL that I've done the chop on for the for the Charger. It's got a good boot though. So I'll be ripping the boot out of the CL cut. Yeah, nearly went AOT. I'll be pulling spot welds out and putting that floor in the limo. Green Limousine. So anyway, continue on to my shed. Okay, in the shed. I'm not a machinist. I'd love to be a machinist. I'd love to learn those skills. I find that fascinating. I think what they can do with metal on a lathe is amazing. But this lathe, free. Why was it free? Because I nagged. It was sat somewhere and they weren't using it. And I asked for it. And they said no. And then I asked for it and they said no. And then I asked for it and they said no. Then they wanted some little jobs done by me and I said, well, yes, I'll do the job, but I want the lathe. And they're like, oh yeah, it's just taking up space. I'm like, 3 years ago I asked you for that lathe, but that's okay. Now you want something from me. So, nag. Don't be afraid to ask, and don't be afraid to keep asking, and don't be afraid to nag people. If there's something that is just wasting away and you know it's never going to get used, so I won't say where I got it from or who I got it off, but where I got it from, they were never ever going to use this again. It was just kicking around and getting in the way and being moved every 3 months and being talked about as what a pain it was. And then so I nagged, and then you know what happened? I nagged and nagged and nagged, and I got it, and I was given it and told I could have it. And then the day after, somebody said, have we still got that old lathe? Because I'd like to use it for such and such. And they're like, oh, hasn't been talked about or used or asked for in 3 years, 4 years, whatever. And then, so that'll happen. So if they give it to you, get it straight away. Nag until they give it to you and then get it immediately. Because there have been times in my life where I've nagged for something and asked for it or whatever, begged. And I've been given it, but I didn't get it quick enough. And then they took it and gave it to someone else, or they decided, oh, actually we don't need it and he's not here to take it, so we'll just chuck it out the tip. That's happened. So it works well. I've got to make a tracer, and so these here I'm going to make into English wheel lower anvils or lower dies. Alright, this is the top one. I made this up about, I don't know, 6 months ago out of a bit of pipe, and I can't even remember what I used for the center, but yeah, I've made this up. Spin him, so that needs another clean up, but yeah, if you saw the ratty old bit of pipe, which I don't have here, so I'm making an English wheel, and that's holding me up because I want to want to be able to form panels and stuff and show you guys how to do that. So I'm not on the limousine because I'm doing other things to get ready for the limousine, right? My son gave me these things to shape metal off of, and I think they're great. There's 3 of them, different sizes, so they'll be awesome to shape things off of. My shed is a pigsty, and I apologise, but I don't apologise at the same time, because this is how I work. My wife thinks I'm a lunatic, but it's how I work, and it works for me. So this, on the other hand, I'm ashamed of, and it's atrocious. This is where the car's going to come into. All right. That I swapped a motor for. I asked and asked and asked for that. Begged, borrowed, no, didn't borrow, begged and nagged for that. And I was relentless. I'm not going to lie. And then one day, the person who had this needed a motor, and I had a motor, and I said they were going to give me some stupid amount of money for it. I think this is way lower than market value for the motor. It was a diesel Hilux motor, and I said, that's really, I'd rather have this. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, no worries, of course you can. Same thing as the lathe, right? Sat there, taking up space, annoying them, frustrating them, giving them the whoops, getting in the way, and then they wouldn't get rid of it for whatever reason, and then one day they needed something that I had. And this is the thing, when you learn skills, or when you get skills, or when you hoard stuff, you can barter, and bartering's fantastic. You don't always win with bartering though. You've got to be aware of that. Bartering's a sliding scale. This here, I put this off for years doing this. This is a cut down oxygen tank that's out of date, right? And you form your metal in here. I'm going to teach you how to do that. Form your metal in here, and you can do bends and curves and stuff around the outside. I've been watching a guy on YouTube who made one of these, and he's got all different attachments, so I'm going to do that. I'll film all of that as I go. Don't do it with anything other than an oxygen tank, because I left this oxygen tank open for 2 years. I didn't fill it full of water because I wasn't worried about it exploding because it's oxygen, but when I was cutting it with the angle grinder, I noticed that as I cut through, my sparks became incredibly bright, which means obviously there was still oxygen in there, and they were being lit up. They were being, I don't know the correct terminology for it. They were getting an influx of oxygen, and they were becoming much brighter. So with that, if that was acetylene or LPG or any of that, you know, bang, I could have been in deep trouble or dead. So don't do that with anything other than oxygen. And if you're going to do it with an oxygen, I suggest that regardless of how long it was left open, you still would fill it to the top with water to push out any air that was in there. But obviously don't use an electric angle grinder. If you've got it full of water, make sure it's empty. Common sense, that sort of stuff. So, you know, I'm doing projects on my way to projects is what I'm getting at. And the last thing, which is the most important thing, is I want to make a car spit out of that. I was lying around at a tip, and I got that. And I've done some measurements, and I know exactly how I'm going to make the car spit, and I'll record that. So we're on our way to a journey, but we're on a journey to the journey. I feel like Lord of the Rings. Yeah, got to get to this place before I get to that place, sort of thing. And this is the stand for the English wheel, which will also be interchangeable with a punishing hammer and a bead roller. Yeah, so much to do before we get to where we're going. Anyway, that's the journey. It's a big journey. Plus I've got to clean up the shed. I've got to fill in the gap up there. I'm not a builder. I've said that before. I've got to level this out, carpet it. I promise I'll get there. I promise I'll get there soon. I'm not mucking around. I just am an ideas man. And I've got a lot of ideas. So be blessed, stay safe, treat each other nice. It's free to be nice, free to be kind. Bye.